ladies and gentlemen. Just about ready to rock and roll in Chico, California. Up here looking at the track, because this is one of the few places on the planet where it can be 90, it can be 100 degrees like it is this weekend. Like, it is so hot, and you're really still not sure what to expect at this quarter mile. Chico can get gut slick to a huge cushion, or you can still see it wet and choppy and rough. They will throw you a curveball no matter what. Like I said, weather plays a factor. It plays a factor here. This place, though, will throw you through a loop. So I wanted to come up here before we got the races started. Friday night 410s here, Silver Dollar Speedway. It's my final weekend with the Tarlton Motorsports team until later in the year. The fans should be rolling in soon. Teams are just finishing, rolling into the pit area. Excited to get going. I've had a great time so far racing with Drew Warner, Nate, the entire Tarlton family. Would like to end this weekend on a good note and into a big stretch of races for myself as a driver, as we have Speed Week and Dirt Cup that pays all this money, and a fun weekend ahead here at Silver Dollar. So we have had good results at this track this season. We won the Silver Cup. We came so close to a $10,000 payday at the Mini Gold Cup. Be nice to get the 21 parked back over there on that front straightaway. So we're gonna go get suited up. We have the pit meeting, then we'll be rolling into the format that they have for like an old school Friday night 410 show at Chico. 410s used to run every Friday here. Things have kind of changed over the years, but they're trying to bring stuff back and really build racing here in Northern California. After qualifying, the tillers are already headed out to the racetrack. You know what that means. It's getting slick, and I think it started to burn off faster than the track prep crew anticipated through hot laps and qualifying. Wasn't really a lot of grease. There's already a good color change through the middle of both corners. So 21 car, we went out late, and that was no excuse for where we qualified. I think we were 12th or 13th quick out of 19 total. I felt like the track actually was fairly even all the way through. Dominic Scelzi might have been the car ahead of me or two ahead of me, and he was at the top of the boards. And honestly, I didn't think my first lap, my best time, felt that bad. So it'd be interesting to like watch his lap and then watch mine and compare the two. Thought I got through 1 and 2 okay. 3 and 4, I didn't have as much throttle as I would have liked, but I didn't feel like anyone was necessarily blasting the top. It's a little rough. It's almost a little, there's grip, but there's not grip, and you're kind of just trying to keep the car straight. And I feel like it was a lot about getting pointed and getting down the front stretch. So again, I'd just be interesting to watch a couple of those other guys and see what they did that was different than mine. My second lap, I almost kind of spun getting into 3. Just feel like our car were a little too laid left, and anytime we hit something, then it acts like we're tight, like we're free, and then it's easy to get tripped up. So we're making quite a few changes right now, and we're gonna head up to the racetrack, see what they're doing to the surface.
Katie back to the inside of Scelzi, can't clear him. Ancona will get a run on the 29 car. They'll race wheel to wheel through turns 3 and 4. Ancona gives him plenty of room. Move him into the third spot. Bud Kading and Tanner Holmes, your top 5. Up front, big time lead by Tyler Thompson. 4 laps down, 4 to go. Tanner Holmes now busting a move to the inside of Bud Kading. Gets around Kading, now he'll work on Joey Ancona. Elbow is up, the hammer is down on the 21T at Tarleton. At the line with 2 to go, it's Thompson, Scelzi, Holmes, Ancona, and Bud Kading. Absolutely on lockdown right now. The 35 km of Tyler Thompson, 1 to go. Nearly a straightaway advantage in 8 laps off of turn 4. Get one for Oregon. Tyler Thompson, followed by Dominic Scelzi, Tanner Holmes.
Well, we had a little pep in our step there in that heat race. Coming from row 3, started 5th. first couple of laps was kind of just behind everyone as they were mixing it up. Some guys were kind of running slider line. A lot of cars jumped right out up to the outside, and me kind of getting the chance to hang out behind them all and see which each lane they picked, I decided to move down to the bottom just because I was 5th out of 6 cars in the heat race. I didn't really have anything to lose, and I hit the bottom because my car didn't feel as comfortable on the top. We made adjustments, and you know, now I feel like we're a little snug up there and have a hard time kind of completing the corner. Chico is just such a tough track to get your car where it feels 100%. But I moved down to the bottom and felt good down there and almost could slow roll it, just kind of carry speed and a little bit of moisture, and find a really good spot with my throttle pedal where I was always moving forward, and picked off 4th, picked off 3rd. And honestly, I think if that was like the A main event, for example, I might have been able to run up to Dominic Scelzi as I started catching him a little bit at the end. Dom's a pretty smart driver, so I think he ran the bottom on the last lap, probably realized the top was kind of fading and becoming more difficult to run and still lay down a good lap. And I was just getting faster throughout the heat because my fastest lap was on the checkered flag. So now we're gonna move into the A main event. That's not gonna get us into like their dash or their redraw, but we should be right behind those cars. So we'll be starting in the top 10 just at the back half, and glad we made up a little bit of ground there, and that definitely helps after, you know, kind of having a weird qualifying session, being unsure of, you know, where our speed, you know, why our speed wasn't where we wanted it to be. Made adjustments and, you know, passed some cars in a heat race, which in a 410 sometimes can be very, very difficult when the track still has a lot of grip. So we're gonna be rolling off from 8th for 30 laps for this Friday show here in Chico. The support divisions are out there right now. Racing surface is going to be quite interesting. I talked about how warm it was. That slicked things off. They worked the track after qualifying. They worked it again after the heat races, and there's not a lot of time until we go. I feel like now, where the track currently sits, it almost has more grip than when the night started, at least with the amount of water that they put on, how much they turned it over. So it's either going to slick back off and you're going to be able to run all around, or the moisture might actually stay, and this A main event will be a faster pace. We're going to find out. That's part of that's what dirt racing's all about. As a driver and at a high level, you got to be able to basically adapt to whatever the surface looks like. We're going to be rolling off from 4th row outside starting position. I feel good about our car with how it handled in the heat race. If we can kind of mimic that here in the feature, just be a little bit better on the top side, but be able to use the bottom, that's going to give us multiple lanes, which is what it takes to win when you start, you know, in traffic, but not, you know, too far back. We're only starting 8th, but we're going to have to be aggressive and get going early, and like I said, match the pace of the guys up front, at the same time having a game plan to pass the cars that we are around. So here in just a minute, we're going to be strapping in and getting the 21 car out on track for tonight's show. We just got done chatting with some fans. Cars all loaded up. My team, they're on it. We are headed to the car wash after a track like that. This thing, it is really dirty. Just super hooked up, super fast-paced 30 laps here at Chico. I told you before I didn't know which way it was gonna go. I had a feeling early in the night when I told you I wasn't sure that it was gonna probably lean towards slick, and when I told you I wasn't sure before the feature, I had a feeling it was gonna lean towards hooked up there. All that prep work they did just brought back so much moisture, and in a situation like that, you're obviously going for the best finish you can. Really hard to win a race from 8th on a surface like that. Ultimately, you got to be starting, I think, first 2 rows, and realistically, you got to be on the front row. I think if you're on the front row there, your car's good, and you just really hit your marks, it's very difficult to beat you unless something crazy happens in lap traffic or a unique situation. So, started 8th, finished 5th. Maybe if the race played out differently, we could have ran about 3rd, but ultimately just was really snug and gave it all we had, but just wasn't able to, wasn't able to make up too much ground within the 30 laps. There's no way we could have not washed after tonight's feature. Just so, almost got so thick, that would be a good word out there. With how they tilled it up, like as guys ran low, the top just had more material sitting on it. It got a little choppier. Even the bottom I thought got more hooked up because it almost was slimy at the beginning and then got faster as guys burned it in. Ultimately, we kind of, I guess what would be our post-race debrief. I think we kind of made the best of our situation. You can always maybe gain another spot or two, but we were just really snug. There was a period around lap 20 to 30 where I really got rolling, and then the yellow came out, and I think your tires just end up cooling back off, and you get a little tight again on the restarts, and everyone's kind of in clean air, so it's hard to make the passes. But at one point, it was looking like I was going to have, I was in 4th, and, maybe could have had a shot at 3rd. Again, it's crazy how free we had our race car, and we could have been, way freer. That's just California for you. That's Silver Dollar. You just never know what they're going to throw your way. So, of course, wish the racetrack wouldn't have been that wet. I think we would have had a little bit of a racier surface, and I don't think they were necessarily intending to do that. It's just kind of what happens. The sun sets, all the factors, you got to remember, contribute to how the racetrack plays out. So, thank you guys so much for watching today's show. Top 5 tonight with Tarlton. We absolutely want more, though. We want to put this thing in victory lane, and tried to run as hard as I could tonight and tried to make, the lane that everyone wasn't in work, and only made it work as good as it was going to. So we'll see you guys all in the next video, and I appreciate these guys just really putting 110%, and that makes me want to give it 110% behind the wheel. So we're going to try to finish on a high note tomorrow and get back to Silver Dollar Speedway for the David Tartar Memorial. See you there. Deuces.